Christian and Emmeline, very exciting to be with you today. Are you excited today? You're more excited about your first communion in the snow this morning, right? That's up in the air, right? Happy Mother's Day to all of our moms. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. It's like a delayed reaction on that one. I have to tell you, this week I was thrilled. It was like a dream come true this week. We had on Tuesday, when it was about 65 and balmy, right? We had a helicopter, the Cleveland Clinic helicopter, literally land in the parking lot of St. Ambrose in a good way. There was no emergency. They were coming as part of our St. Ambrose School 8th grade leadership day. It was very exciting, yes? All my life I have wanted a helicopter, right? Just think how you could move so easily. So it was really exciting. It was one thing for it to land, but it was just like literally it was circling around. Then it finally came down, and all the kids got to go see what was in the helicopter. And again, it was really, really, really fascinating. Think about a helicopter for a moment, right? So it's small in the sky, yes? Yes? Huge on the ground. Small in the sky, huge on the ground, right? Or think about, like, so as the helicopter lifts up, those water towers, which are really big on the ground, yes? How are they in the sky? They're very small, right? It's all about perspective, putting things into context. So you have a water tower that looks huge here, but the higher up you go, you see the water tower is just part of a campus, which is part of a community, which is like a dot when you get up in the air, yes or yes? It's all about putting things into perspective and context. And the helicopter, or a drone actually, is equally a good parallel, that the higher up it goes, everything kind of fits into its place. But it's large on the ground, small in the sky, large on the ground. Amen? And it's all about putting things into context, putting things into perspective. And as we continue through this Easter season, what our scriptures give us today is really context and perspective. For example, on Good Friday, if that's all you saw, we saw death. Yes? But as we unpack the Easter season, we come to realize that death for us becomes the way to life. Go to today's gospel. You and I are commanded to love one another. Right in front, it's like, oh my gosh, one more rule to follow, amen? But you put it into your bigger context, it has eternal implications. That if you and I love one another, it really is the way to heaven. Even more, if you follow the commandments, oh my gosh, rules. Who likes rules, right? But if you put it into the bigger context, what does the gospel say? If you follow the rules, the commandments, Jesus goes on to say, in the larger context, your life will be abundantly, richly blessed. So at that moment of decision, oh my gosh, I got to follow the rule. But in the larger context, it really becomes a source, a wellspring of God's grace and blessing now and literally forever. Amen? And the scriptures, as we celebrate this sixth Sunday of Easter, really are trying to help us put things into context and perspective. What looked like death on Good Friday becomes the way for us to heaven. What looks like one more thing to do, love one another, has eternal implications. The commandments, oh my gosh, rules we're to follow. They're really so that God can bless us literally now and forever. And when you put things into perspective, put things into context, that really helps us come to a richer, deeper understanding. As we walk into the week then, three things. The first is this. Take some time at the end of each day to literally look at all the choices you made on that day. You'll be able to put them into perspective and context. Did you live the way of the Lord throughout the course of a day? So it's one thing to kind of like go to this one decision at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Look at the whole day and put your day into perspective. Put it into context. Were you living, loving, serving, caring throughout the day in the way of the Lord? If you actually take the time to do that, and you're living that way, the gospel promises that your life will be blessed now and for how long? Here's the second thing. On Mother's Day, we can focus on Mother's Day 2021. But if you are so blessed to have your mom or your grandmother or your great-grandmother, or you're probably a great-great-great-great-grandmother, right? Take some time today and really ask them questions about their life. Not just the moment, but take some time to really learn and hear the stories from when they were growing up. And you can say, oh my gosh, why do I want to do that? Because when you put things in perspective and you put life into context, your life will be richly blessed as you hear the stories, not just from 2021, but maybe from 1980, 1960, 1950, you get where I'm going. And you'll find it to be fascinating, if not absolutely lovingly enriching. And it will certainly help you to have a much deeper appreciation of your moms, your grandmothers, and the blessing they are in our lives. And thirdly, Mother Teresa says that all of us can do small things with great. The gospel clearly reminds us that you and I are called to love one another. And we can all do small things with great. Then really challenge yourself to go out today and do acts of loving kindness. Now, in and of itself, you might say, like, what's the big deal? But when you lift it up and come to a higher view, if every single one of us leave here today really committed to doing small things with great, you might just see what you're doing. But in the wider view, in the bigger perspective, today we can unleash in a good way a blizzard of kindness. Literally set a tidal wave of thoughtfulness, care, and love across our region. You can see just what you're doing, those small things with great, but if we all do it and kind of look to a higher helicopter view, we will literally unleash a tidal wave of goodness across our region. Think about this. The helicopter on the ground is huge, yes? In the sky, it's small. When we put things in perspective and context, and the scriptures this weekend call us to put our life, our journey, in the perspective and in the context of the Lord.